All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. It is Thursday, April 13th of 2023 here. Got the RBC Heritage Golf Tournament teeing off earlier this morning. I know that we've had, two really good days of playing games for the NBA. So no NBA today. We'll be back tomorrow. And then we already had a 2-game MLB slate get going, an early slate. We have a 5-game main slate later this evening, as well as a night slate if you are playing over on DraftKings. So a lot of DFS action coming at you today. Almost forgot our to mention our hockey slate. We have a 15-game hockey slate today. So just huge slate over in the NHL streets. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew, one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. It's a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. You can post questions live in the YouTube chat or over in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord, there's a link in the description below to get joined up. Highly recommend it as always. That being said, going to get the app pulled up here. Only one question right now in the queue here. We got one question in the Discord. Should be a quick one. Not really sure where we go from there. If anybody has any questions, now is a great time to get them in as always. But just going to hit this one from Kevlar. And Kevlar said, do quick swap alerts only take into account the uploaded entries, or do they look at every build you have? So good question here. So let's go back to MLB. I'm actually going to use yesterday's slate just because I had a CSV for the show. So this will make it easy to demo here. But basically, so the quick swap, this button basically is linked to your entries tab. So basically what happens is when you are in a build and you fill your entries and you hit download. So like I'm in a build, I'm good with my lineup set, whatever it is, I'm going to fill. And then once I hit this download button, you are telling SaberSim like, hey, these are my lineups. Like these are the lineups I am submitting into my contest. So treat these lineups as what is on the site, like what is on DraftKings per se here, right? So once I hit download, it's going to accept that, and then on the entry screen, you should get the same save lineup file. So this 1103 file is what we used to fill our lineups just now. So then now that shows up here on the entry screen. This is what SaberSim is reading. So these players that you see where it says, manage your entries, and then it shows you the players that you have in your lineups. It shows you the exposures. SaberSim is monitoring these players only. So it's not from all your builds. It is only from the fill entries download build that you used, which you could see here. And then if you wanted to change it from this screen and then, go with a different file, it would update that, and then it would also update the players being used and give you new exposures per se here. So that is what it is doing. It is reading the file, whatever lineup file you see here in your entries screen. All right. Good question there. And that is all we have at the moment. Happy to hang around, talk about, whatever you guys want to talk about here. If there's, a concept you guys want me to like dive into and give you guys some thoughts on, happy to do that as well. So I'm just going to hang out for a couple minutes here. Maybe take a look at the slate. I haven't really looked yet as what was going on today. I thought it was going to be a day slate, and like I love day slates. I think they're awesome. You get that like full day sweat. I'm in California, so I'm on the West Coast. So, baseball starting at 10 a.m. is like pretty cool. You get to just sweat it out all day here. But, we got a 5-game main slate. Should be pretty interesting. If you guys aren't playing over on Owner's Box, I can't recommend it enough. Just about every single day the contests are overlaying. And then you could see that like when you when your contest locks, it'll tell you, what place you're in, and, everybody's tied for first. But usually if you do that on like DraftKings, right, let's say that, it's like a $5 entry, all your entries will be worth I don't know, 425, like 15% rake right there. So then, your $5 entry goes to 425 automatically. On OwnersBox, because of the overlay and because the contests aren't filling, you're getting paid to play. I mean, I think, yes, they run like a $15 flagship, and almost every day it's like, as soon as that contest locks, my entries are now worth $17. So they are actually paying me $2 to play those contests. So highly recommend checking out OwnersBox. There's a link in the description to our OwnerBox promo page. They have a $500 deposit bonus, and then we track your entries so you can earn free SaberSim credit the longer you play on the site. Got a good question here from Yelp. Said, what is the DFS profit plan? That is a great question here. So let me pull up the YouTube channel here. So this is our YouTube channel. It's our homepage. If you are on our homepage here, you scroll down and it says new here, start here first. We have this video, start winning more with our DFS profit plan. This is a 17-minute summary, basically, of a long behind the Sims series that we did here. I think it's actually under podcast now. So if you go to podcasts, you go to full podcast, we had this series down here called Contest Selection. It was the very first behind the Sims series we did. It was a 5-video series spearheaded by Eric, and Jordan was there to just ask questions and get good insight along the way here. But basically, we did a lot of back testing last MLB season to figure out what is the best mix of contests to play that, one, help users grow their bankroll, and 2, minimize the risk of ruin. So, a lot of work went into that. What we found out, just like some key points, some things that I still remember to this day, is that a player with a very high expectation of winning, like if we assume a player is a good player who is going to win over the long term, even a player of that caliber is only going to have 6 to 8 profitable days in a month over, if they're playing every single day, so 30 to 31 days in a calendar month, they're only going to have 6 to 8 profitable days. But the way DFS works with the exponential payouts is, you get one first place that pays for all your entry fees and earns you some profit on top of that. So that is why it is important to build lineups with high upside that have a chance of taking down these GPPs. So if you're interested in learning a lot about it, I would recommend this 5-episode series. But if you're interested in more of the too long didn't read of it, or you kind of want the summary, the key points here, this 17-minute video is great. I would highly recommend it. And then if you're looking for even a smaller kind of bite-sized sample of what what variance looks like, type in variance here. And Jordan did this video. This was from when Jordan was hosting office hours a while back. It says, what does variance after 100 slates look like for a winning player? So he did a demo in I think it was Google Sheet or Excel, where he basically assumed a player had a winning expectation, and they basically simmed out seasons and determined, if this player is expected to win, does he actually win across an entire season or across 100 slates? And there were times where the player won. There were times where the player lost, even though the player is expected to win. So, variance is very, very high in DFS. I think this is a cool little 15-minute clip of what that looks like. So this is still a great video. Yelp said, when I make my builds, I want the most diversity as possible, such as different captains and a good mix and match. What's the best way to go about this? I always end up getting the same 2 to 6 captains. Okay, so this sounds like a showdown question, or some type of captain format question. So let's go over to DraftKings. This is going to depend, I think, on the sport here, but let's say that you are building Showdown for NBA. You're playing these NBA playoff contests. You're playing some of these showdowns here, and you want to build some lineups with multiple captains here, right? So let's go over, we'll do this OKC, Minnesota, like the last play-in game here, which will be taking place, I believe, tomorrow. And I'm just going to make 2 adjustments here really quickly. And then I'm just going to run, we'll run 500 bills. I think that's fine. Sliders are at 0-10. That's what we like to see here. And we're going to get this kicked off, let these lineups build. Snowman said, good afternoon. How is it going, Snowman? Hope you're doing well. All right. So we're going to let these lineups finish here, and then we will begin talking about this. All right, lineups are finalizing right now. Boom, we are in the post build now. So a couple of different ways to do this. I think that there are a couple of different ways I would consider doing this. I think it's okay to experiment with min uniques here. I think that one way you could tell if you're being too aggressive with it is if you scroll down to the bottom and then you start increasing your min uniques. Where does this number go? So basically we increased this to 2 here. And what we saw was that we only lost 2 lineups in our set. So we went from lineup 20 to lineup 22. So I think that's fine here. And then by doing that, we went from 5 captains to 6. So then we gained 1 captain. Let's go to 3, see how many more captains. Okay, we're up to 8 captains here. And we're only at lineup 55. So, at this point, we're still in the top 10% of our pool here. And we've already increased our captains from 5 to 8. I think this is one way you can experiment with this. The only problem that really arises from using min uniques too much in Showdown is that in order for the builders to get different, it has to start putting in these really low owned captains, which is something that I personally do not like to see. So, we have Dario Saric in 2 of our 500 lineups. And because we're using min uniques, we are getting to those lineups, and the same for Jordan McLaughlin here. So, these are 2 captains that I probably would not want to play. So maybe I go with 2 and then go about a different way of trying to find more players, more players to get in here. Okay, so it looks like Dario is in actually our top 20 from the beginning. So he's okay. And then, we kind of ended up with Jordan McLaughlin from there. But just I would just say be careful that, you don't start jamming in all of these low pool percent captains because we're using the min unique so heavily here. I think another way that you could just force more captains is sort by pool here. See who the top pool exposed players are. See who you're not getting to, and then make sure you get to some of them here. So maybe you want to get to some Shy, and it seems like the builder is leaning Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, probably from just a salary perspective. They're a little cheaper. Shy's a little more expensive, probably gives you a little less flexibility at your utility spots. But nevertheless, you want to at least get to some of him. Maybe you want to match with the field here. So I think you can handle it on just a raw exposure basis. And then I would just sort by pool and then make sure you're getting to, some of these higher pool exposed guys and then kind of spreading it out from there. But it really depends, what you're looking for. I think that, with this combination of min uniques and then just forcing some exposures, we went from 5 to 8 captains. I would say it's okay to be, kind of concentrated at the captain position in a sport like basketball. It's going to be really hard for projection is very good, at the end of the day. That's why we're getting to some of these higher owned guys and so much less of these lower owned guys. So I would say in a sport like basketball, be careful trying to get too wide. I think there's a reason that the builder does certain things. I think that in a sport like, NFL Showdown, the builder is more likely to get super spread out, or, maybe you're playing MLB and, pitchers are just always going to grade out better. They're probably just a better play in general here, but who knows, right? The builder kind of tell you that on a slate to slate basis. There's a lot of context. There's a lot of who's playing, or, who's in the player pool, etc. That kind of leads to those things. But these are different ways that I would try to get more spread out if that was something that was bothering me about what I was seeing. Zach said, yo, just started my free trial, been enjoying using it. Awesome, Zach. Glad you're able to find this show. We do this show Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. We take questions and try and give users thoughtful feedback about different strategies, different things they're doing, how to use the app, etc. So if you have any questions, do not be shy. All right, Snowman said, I'm not weighing as much of a 2.0, going to go back to 2.1. Oh, I'm not winning as much. I think that's okay. Like we just said, you're going to have not that many winning days a month. I will say that, we have like we have done a lot of like contest sims and back testing around our SaberScore metrics here. And then not only that, the way SaberScore used to be is it used to be a blanket SaberScore across all sports, across all sites, etc. here. All sites doesn't matter, but we had a blanket SaberScore, kind of by sport here. And now we are doing this sport by sport. We are doing this by slate size. We are doing this by contest size. So SaberScore is like a lot more intuitive. It is a lot more focused, I would say, on a sport by sport basis here. So like from my perspective, I think the Saber scores are better than they've ever been. And I think that, we're being a lot more transparent with the formulas that we're using to calculate them. I think you could probably chalk it up to just some variance. I wouldn't, be super concerned about it. But I think it's okay to, if you're on the pro plan, to come in here, mess with some of the formulas, create some custom metrics, and see what they're looking like. But technically, you can't even go back to the old SaberScore, because the old SaberScore used to grade for correlation here. And now we only use correlation as a slider, and we do not grade for correlation in the post build. And then, this is ultimately just going to be different because of getting rid of the ownership fade slider as well. So there's not really like a one-for-one way to go back to the old SaberScore, just because of some of the updates we've made to getting rid of some double counting aspects of things we were doing with sliders and with lineup grading metrics. So I would say, hang in there, keep working hard, keep working the process. But I think that the Saber scores are probably better than they've ever been. Zach said, when would the UFC projections be added? So good question. They usually come up sometime on Thursday. I'm not 100% sure. It depends when, usually this is related to odds coming out. So they look up to me here. So if I go to Saturday, 14 game slate, they look like they're up. It looks like ownership is up. If you're not seeing it on your end, what you can do is you can just do a Control-Shift-R or a Command-Shift-R if you're on Mac instead of Windows. And then that will just give the app like a full reset here, but you should be able to see the MMA projections up in the app, which I am seeing now. So good luck. All right. Question from Sean in the Discord. Zach said not all of them are added if you scroll down. Okay. So frankly, I'm not sure why this is this way, but I can mention it to the team and we'll get that updated. So MMA projections. So let me make a note for myself, and then I'll bring it up to the team after the show. But thank you for pointing that out. All right, Sean said, when will review mode be available for sports like tennis, MMA, NASCAR, golf, CSGO in the future? So good question. Frankly, I don't know. We pull in the DK actuals from certain data providers, which is like kind of outside of my role here in the company. So I don't know exactly where we pull it in from, but it's possible that they don't offer them. They're only offering major sports like the MLBs, like the NBAs, like the NFLs, etc. So I'm not really sure what that looks like, but what I could do is I could take it back to the team as a feature request and then say actuals for tennis, MMA, NASCAR, golf, CSGO. So I'll mention that to the team, but I'm happy to take that back if that is something that people want. So that is the best I can do, and then let people know internally that people are asking for that. Zach said, cool, thanks. Yeah, man, happy to help out. But all right, everybody, might be just like a quick short show today. Sometimes short shows happen. It's okay. We'll be right back tomorrow for our Friday show. If anybody is building lineups throughout the day and you guys have random question pops in your head about how to use the app, about some strategy thing, just drop it in the office hours channel. Let it sit there. and then we will get back to it on the very next show. That gives us a steady queue of questions to get rolling once we get the show started. So until tomorrow, good luck in your contest. Take care, and I will see you. Bye.